In this video I put together 6 great quartz watches that you should consider. Quartz watches are very polarizing. Many watch enthusiasts have a high level of intolerance towards quartz watches. But not all quartz watches are equal. There are some models that are appreciated by watch nerds around the world. So if you are not into quartz at all, this video probably is not for you. Or maybe stick around to explore what quartz watches watch enthusiasts are in love with. I would probably start with the watch that gained quite a hype in recent years. I am talking about the Cartier Tank Must. Particularly, everyone got obsessed with the Solar Beat model, which was not easy to get. I think it's a bit easier now. Anyway, aside from the Solar Beat, the regular quartz model is also very popular. With the stated 7 years of the battery life, it's a very good watch that should not require any service in the nearest future. Yes, with the Solar Beat you should be covered for about 15 years, which is incredible. But what happens next? Would you need to service the whole movement? That's something I have no answer to. Only thing I would say is this: if you like this Cartier Tank Must, the regular quartz model is something you should not overlook. The Tank Must is as iconic as they get. The design survived for 100 years and probably would survive another 100. What you have with this watch and what you should know before buying it. The watch case is flat, it's not curved. Something to keep in mind: it may not be quite comfortable for certain wrists. I mean, with this Cartier and its dimensions, it's nearly impossible to get it wrong, but still something to be aware of. The Cartier Tank Must large case size is 33.7 by 25.5 mm. The thickness is 6.6 mm. The watch is very thin. The watch has only 30 meters of water resistance, which is absolutely fine for a classic dress watch. The watch has beautiful tempered blue hands. The hands, along with black Roman numerals, provide beautiful contrast to the silverish dial. Yes, the dial is silver and not white like some pictures or videos suggest. The Cartier Tank Must Large is actually a pretty small watch. If you are used to larger watches, it's something to consider also. There are even smaller versions available, or the XL variant, which is much larger. Consider buying another strap for the watch, because the strap this Cartier comes with is not a good quality one. If you like this watch, it is a good idea to buy it soon. Because in the past years Cartier made a few price increases, so the watch price is substantially more than it was. Maybe this Cartier is not the most versatile choice because of its elegant design, but is definitely a great everyday companion for a regular city life. Grand Seiko Heritage Watch SBGX 261. This Grand Seiko SBGX 261 is perfect in almost every way, and it's not something that happens often in the watch world. This Grand Seiko is one of the best Rolex Explorer alternatives in my opinion. This watch can be your only watch and literally serve you for any occasion. Similarly to the Explorer, this Grand Seiko comes with 100 meters of water resistance, which makes this model a great everyday piece. But there's no screw down crown, which would make some people uncomfortable to take this watch for a swim. This watch is a brilliant combination of great design, well thought proportions and ideal case size. The watch case diameter is 37 mm, the lug to lug is 44.6 mm. Thickness 10 mm. The watch has no lume, but the finishing makes it visible even in a very poor light. Works like magic. Thanks to its curved case, the watch fits on the wrist perfectly. Everything about this watch is amazing. This watch was on my radar since I tried it for the first time and I fell in love with it. When I had a chance to spend some time with the watch and review it, my love for this watch grew stronger. The watch is super comfortable on my 17 cm wrist. It has that perfect balance. Not too small and not too big. Just perfect. Another cool thing about this watch is that it's the cheapest Grand Seiko you can buy. But the watch doesn't look or feel cheap. Not at all. You got the same attention to details and Zaratsu polishing as with any other Grand Seiko. Although I must say that Grand Seiko case polishing doesn't seem to me like anything too crazy. Just very good polishing. But on the hands and markers I can see the difference. The polishing and finishing is amazing there. The movement inside this Grand Seiko is not an ordinary quartz movement. The Grand Seiko quartz is far superior to any regular quartz movements. It is an in-house movement, it's finished well and it's crazy accurate. The stated accuracy is plus 10 seconds per year. It's insane. There are a few things I wish they improved with the model. The bracelet is solid and good, but I wish it was tapered and had a micro adjustment option. Bulova Lunar Pilot. You probably know or at least heard about Omega Speedmaster Professional. Known as the Moon Watch. Omega Speedmaster Professional is a very cool watch that went to the moon and was approved by NASA as the space watch. But Omega is not the only watch that went to the space. There are other watches including Breitling, Fortis and Bulova. Now, I think that the Bulova Moon Watch story is pretty cool. According to the story, the unique Bulova chronograph was gifted to NASA Apollo mission astronaut Dave Scott. He took it to the space mission along with the NASA-issued Omega Speedmaster. At some point, the Omega Speedmaster crystal was compromised, so the astronaut had to use the Bulova. Apparently, he went on the walk on the moon's surface and was the first person to operate a lunar rover vehicle while wearing his Bulova. It worked great, and he had this Bulova watch on his wrist during the landing back to Earth. For some reason, Bulova wasn't capitalizing on this story and kept it a secret for a long time, and finally they created the reissue back in 2016. This Bulova Lunar Pilot is the watch that kinda restarted my hobby. As probably any watch collector or enthusiast, I had my ups and downs. I was in a very inactive phase when this then newly announced Bulova caught my attention. I liked the watch and the story behind the model, and despite its large 45mm case size, it wasn't too bad on my wrist. So I got it for myself and have had this watch in the collection since. Today I would choose a better sized 43mm version though. They also made a few other model cool variations. What I like the most about my Bulova Moonwatch is the case and dial execution. The high contrast dial design is quite complex and with layers of depth and flawless applied markers. The unique pushers design makes it easy to operate them, and the overall case finishing is quite nice. The chronometer hand moves like it's a mechanical watch. With my 8 years of ownership of this watch, I had no issues at all. I changed the battery for the third time only recently. The crystal's clear and there are no major scratches on the case. It stood the test of time like a champ. Today we have several Bulova Moonwatch model variants to choose from, and I think it's great, but I really hope they will make a 38 or 40mm version someday. It would be an instant hit for me. Rolex Oysterquartz. Now this is not the watch you can buy new at any Rolex AD anymore. Not that you can buy any Rolex at any Rolex AD. But this model is different in many ways. Oyster Quartz is a very unique Rolex, and it's a highly praised quartz watch among watch collectors. I owned Oyster Quartz a long time ago and sold it. I still regret the decision. So, what's unique about the Rolex Oyster Quartz? First, it's a quartz Rolex watch, something that wasn't happening very often. I believe it's the only men's model ever produced with the quartz movement. Inside the watch is not some regular cheap quartz. Oyster Quartz has a Rolex in-house quartz movement ticking inside the case. You will be sure of it because the movement ticks so loud you will notice it. Rolex developed a 5035 quartz caliber for the Oyster Quartz Datejust and the 5055 quartz caliber for the Oyster Quartz Day-Date models. In a way, it's a quartz masterpiece. Interesting fact that Rolex had, or maybe still has, a policy to replace the battery free of charge for their customers. I remember when I brought my Oyster Quartz to the Rolex service center in Toronto, in 2012 they replaced the battery and didn't charge me for the service. It was very nice. Another unique feature of the watch is that it's the only Rolex integrated bracelet model. The first Oyster Quartz model was released back in 1970. It's 2 years before the AP Royal Oak was introduced, and 6 years before the Patek Philippe Nautilus. Isn't it amazing? In 1977 it went on a full swing and the Oyster Quartz hit the market hard. Well, hard for the niche product, it was still a drop in the other Rolex models' ocean. The watch eventually discontinued between 2000 and 2004. With its integrated bracelet, Oyster Quartz wears a bit larger than vintage Rolex Datejust in the same 36mm for example. Oyster Quartz is also a bit chunkier on the wrist, but still the overall design and proportions make this watch quite comfortable. Oyster Quartz is not the common Rolex, but still can be found on the secondary market for a competitive price compared to other modern or discontinued Rolex models. TAG Heuer Aquaracer Solargraph. TAG Heuer for some reason is not the most respectful brand among watch enthusiasts. It used to be a very popular brand. In certain regions its popularity was pretty close to Rolex. Now, with some new models it looks like TAG Heuer is starting to get its momentum again, but there are still many of those who like and appreciate the brand. TAG Heuer introduced a very cool quartz diver. Not any quartz diver, it's an Aquaracer Solargraph, which means the watch is powered by the sun, the same way as Seiko's Solar or Citizen's Eco Drive. The Aquaracer Solargraph gained a lot of respect and appreciation among watch geeks. I saw Solargraph models in the metal and I liked it a lot. The main specifications of the watch are great. They suggest that it could be your ultimate luxury sports diver watch. It has a very healthy 40mm case size and it's only 9.9mm thin. Since it's a solar powered watch, it doesn't need any battery replacement or any service for at least 10 years. But if you want to make sure the water resistance remains uncompromised, you should send it for service once in a while. Aquaracer Solargraph models are available with a few color and material options. Materials like DLC coated steel plus carbon bezel or titanium. Of course, I have to mention G-Shock, although it's not my favorite. I have two G-Shock models and they look pretty sad waiting in the box to get any wrist time. But if you need a good, not expensive, reliable sports watch, Casio G-Shock is here for you. Any G-Shock will do. The range is enormous. You can find G-Shock models starting from about $100 and up to several $1,000s. My personal favorite is the DW5600 model line. It is iconic, light, not too large, comfortable to wear and reliable. With this G-Shock, besides the good look, you have the most needed features. Time, date, day, month, alarm, chrono, and the lume. The dial lights up when you press the button. In addition, the watch has 200 meters of water resistance. G-Shocks are widely available. You can buy and try them at almost any department store or Casio retailer, including online. There are many retailers and even official G-Shock stores. So this is my selection of the 6 quartz watches that every watch nerd respects. There's a lot of negativity towards quartz watches in the watch community, but there's no reason for that. Quartz watches have their own advantages, like hassle-free ownership experience in most cases. They are better suitable for some extreme environments or activities than their more delicate mechanical counterparts. But there are some disadvantages too, like a battery leak that could be a big pain in the butt. Which quartz watch would you add to this list? Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful and entertaining. I will see you next time. Bye now and take care.